my underground boyfriend said. As long as we can save enough money to buy a house in Los Angeles, will marry me for this goal. I still work part-time delivering food after finishing my job every day, saving money diligently. One night, deep into the night, I'm getting ready to take a break, received a special order. Just deliver a box of strawberry-flavored items to the St. Monica Hotel within 10 minutes. The other party also gave an extra 200 yuan. I think this person is really generous. I agreed readily, however. After I delivered the items, to my surprise, it was my boyfriend Ethan, who was supposed to be on a business trip, coming out of the room. Is it for food delivery? Just put the things at the door. I heard this sound outside the door, immediately frozen in place, but my body reacted quickly. He immediately pushed open the stairway door next to him and hid. This is not possible. It just sounds that way. That person is actually still abroad. Just now, you were by my side in the video as I fell asleep. I bit my lips, comforting oneself in the heart. The eyes were intently focused on the door through the crack. Not long after, the door opened. A man with his upper body bare stepped out. That person is very handsome, tall and slender. I am very familiar with it. It is my boyfriend, Ethan. He entered the room carrying something when I turned around. I saw his back covered in scratch marks. The action is urgent. Even the door wasn't closed properly. The things have arrived. Now you can't escape. You're so spoiled. You actually want a strawberry-flavored cover, although I say this, but there was a tone full of affection. What's wrong? Don't you like me this way? The girl is smiling happily. Or do you prefer that old-fashioned person at home? Ethan smirked disdainfully. I have watched her for 10 years. Feel very annoyed. Not long after, an indescribable sound came from within. I stand outside the door. A chill ran through my heart. The nail pierced into the palm. You like to shout, right? Let everyone hear it. I suddenly opened the door to the room that had not been shut properly, completely unaware of the surprised voices in the room. Ran down the stairs directly. The delivery car is parked downstairs, pushed down by the security guard into the bushes. I was stunned. I don't know what to do. The phone rang. It's a call from Mom. Hearing the commotion on my side, Mom urgently asked what happened on the other end of the phone. I can't speak. Simply gave a short answer. I'm fine. Mom, I don't want to stay in the big city anymore. Can I come back early for Thanksgiving to be with you? I looked at the luxurious high-rise building in front of me, no longer paying attention to the takeaway vehicle covered in mud, turned around and left. 3 a.m. I received a message from Ethan. He said he would be back today. Let me get up early to pick him up. I shook my heavy head, didn't pay special attention. I haven't slept all night in a daze. He heard the sound of Ethan opening the door. He came in, directly hugged me along with the quilt, then it rubbed against my neck. Why didn't you come to pick me up in the morning? I have been very busy with work lately. Exhausted to the bone. Can't you feel a bit of pity for me? I looked closely at his face, confirmed that I didn't see the wrong person yesterday. Is the work hard? I think it's about struggling hard against others. Ethan pushed him and stood up. He saw that I ignored him. He grabbed my wrist. What's wrong? You didn't even give me a good face this morning. I forced a smile. It's okay. You work hard, go back and rest. He frowned and asked, are you rushing me to leave? Is there something uncomfortable? I dodged the hand he extended towards me, staring at him with a numb heart. What are you really doing? Nothing. I don't want to talk right now. You can go back first. Ethan kicked the door violently. Do you think I want to come here? But back then, it was you who begged me to come. Seeing that I had no reaction, Ethan left angrily. I lean against the wall, feeling a bit powerless. In fact, I should have thought of this long ago. It has been noticeable since he started going on business trips frequently. Ethan is right. At first, I was the one who wanted to be with him. At that time, we were in the same school. I have poor academic performance, being specifically targeted by the homeroom teacher. Also, falsely accused of stealing. He stood up to argue with the teacher for me. As a result, both of them were made to stand as punishment. I feel that I have burdened him. Crying, I said sorry to him. He said, it's not your fault. Why should we apologize? Behind the young boy is a dense grove of green trees. Since then, I followed him for a full 10 years, work hard, enduring high rent. Finally, I rented the house across from him when he finally said to me, Emily, let's give it a try. Although he disagrees with publicly acknowledging our relationship, he also said that he would only marry me after buying a house in Los Angeles. Ethan's coat, which he took off when he just got back, was still on the sofa. I noticed a box of something that had been opened fall out of his pocket. It was the one I delivered to the hotel yesterday, strawberry flavored. The next day at work, everyone is discussing something. Did you see that just now? Manager Ethan brought a girl to work. I heard she is the daughter of the CEO of Smith Group. Look at manager Ethan standing next to her. There is indeed a resemblance between couples. At that moment, there was a knock on the office door. Ethan glanced at me. There was nothing particularly expressive on the face. Hello, everyone. Let me introduce everyone. This is Olivia. From now on, she will be the new director of your department. All the eyes around were focused on me. This position was originally mine. Hello, everyone. I am Olivia, she smiled brightly, but I felt a wave of coldness. That's right, it is her, the girl who was previously with Ethan. A colleague noticed that my expression was a bit off, asked me if I was all right. I thought I would feel sad because my ministerial position was taken away. I reluctantly shook my head. At this moment, Olivia walked up to me. Question, are you Emily? The bidding meeting for the case with Smith was scheduled to take place in a week. All relevant materials must be given to me before tomorrow. She looked at me. It seems to want to convey friendliness, but what was said required several times the amount of work as before. I instinctively glanced at Ethan. He didn't look at me. Smiling at Olivia, in the late-night office, I sent the final confirmed document to Olivia. Even though the decision to leave has been made, I still hope to do the final work well. I rubbed my sore neck. I took out my phone and booked a flight home for half a month later. At that moment, Ethan called. The tone is somewhat indifferent. Why haven't you returned yet? Still working overtime at the company? How do you work overtime every day? Do you want me to pick you up? His tone seemed to have relaxed a bit. I thought about the scene of Ethan accompanying Olivia home after work, leaning wearily against the chair. No need. I will stay for a while longer. I'll go back by myself later. You truly don't know how to appreciate it. Finished speaking. The phone call was dropped. It was very late when I went home. Just walked into the neighborhood. Under the dim oak tree, two people were seen closely together. I am a little worried. Ask them if this will be seen by Sister Emily. I just asked her. She is still working overtime at the company, under the moonlight. I noticed that Olivia happened to see me. A smug smile appeared on his face. I had my sister do some extra work. You wouldn't blame me, would you? He has his back to me. The voice was a bit hoarse. Gently laughed for a moment. I just said, as long as you are happy. Time passes quickly when working. I deliberately choose not to think about love. After pulling a few all-nighters, I finally finished it. At the meeting with Smith, I had a pleasant conversation with the person in charge over there, discussing the details of the cooperation. Ethan sat next to me, not saying a word, just look at me seriously. The person in charge of Smith extended his hand with a smile. Praise me for being outstanding. I hope we have the opportunity to cooperate together again in the future. Before I could react, Ethan next to him held that hand. Our company also hopes to have more collaboration opportunities with Smith in the future. Olivia quickly responded gently, but when she looked back at me, her eyes were filled with resentment. Returned to the company. I was stopped by Ethan in the hallway. He said, "Okay, no more fuss. Did I upset you somehow before? I apologize to you. Recently, you haven't been sleeping beside me. I feel like I can't sleep well." He braced himself with both hands on either side of me. There was a gentle warmth in the eyes as always. I looked at the person in front of me who seemed to have two faces. We have known each other for 10 years. But I feel like I never truly understood him. Just as I was about to respond to him, faint footsteps echoed in the corridor. Ethan immediately released me. I watched as he gradually increased the distance. It feels like the air around is slightly thinner. A soft discussion could be heard by the ear. Have you seen the photo posted by Minister Olivia in the group? Emily delivers takeout after work. Life is not easy. Ethan took out his phone. I see myself in the photo wearing a gray work uniform. Sweat and dust cling to one side of my face. My phone didn't ring. I am not in that group. It seemed that Olivia's loud laughter was coming from outside the stairs. Ethan cast an unhappy glance at me. Am I not good to you usually? Why cause me trouble out there? It seems that everyone does not care about us. I am not afraid of losing you. Someone outside is calling me. Broke the silence in front of me. I looked at the overseas application form given by my boss, stared blankly for a while. The case with Smith was handled very well. The person in charge on the other side is very impressed with you. Originally, the position of the department head was reserved for you, but your manager Ethan said you still need to work on it. The company now has an opportunity to go to Germany for communication. I intend to let you go. I had originally planned to resign. I didn't expect to have such an opportunity. Until Ethan knocked on my desk. I just realized all of this. I will take you out for dinner after work. I looked around. I found that my colleagues had all left. Indeed, it is only when no one is around. Our feelings can only be revealed. I originally wanted to refuse, but Ethan forcibly pulled me to the restaurant. Watching him order a large table of my favorite dishes, we all tacitly avoided mentioning what happened in the stairwell today, maybe after going abroad. Our relationship has truly come to an end, from start to finish. It's all so quiet, no one will know. I kept my head down, not wanting to show my emotions. Suddenly, Ethan spoke up. My boss asked me today if the opportunity to go to Germany for exchange can be given to Olivia. I suddenly raised my head, staring at him in shock. Olivia is the leader of your department. She is in charge of this event. She is more suitable than you. I say that. I have known about your abilities since I was young. You are not at that level yet. If it weren't for Olivia helping you, you won't be able to accomplish this matter at all. Upon hearing this, I watched the man in front of me who showed a hint of disdain. Stunned, why do you think that? My career can be easily discarded. How about your career? Ethan let out a cold laugh. What is your career? Is delivering takeout considered a career? The meal was not good. Ethan's car drove past me. I am waiting for a taxi in the cold wind. I suddenly received a message from Olivia. It is a photo of an application form. I didn't expect that I mentioned it to brother Ethan. He reserved this spot for me. It's understandable. Sister Emily, your financial situation may not be able to cover expenses outside. Time seemed to stand still at that moment. I started desperately calling Ethan, but he always hangs up. After multiple attempts to call, on the other end of the line, Ethan's cold voice finally came through. Emily, don't overestimate yourself just because of some small achievements. I would like to give this opportunity to Olivia. Without your consent, I won't be going back to live for a while. Think about it carefully yourself. I clenched my fist tightly. My palms are a bit sore. I feel my whole body shaking. Finally, I can only laugh at myself self-deprecatingly. No way. He is the manager. I am also powerless back home. I started organizing the things I would take with me. I don't have many belongings. I had been saving money earlier. I want to save money quickly to build a home with Ethan. It's a pity that it is like this now. Turn on the computer. Prepare to submit the resignation letter that has been written. At this moment, the phone suddenly rang. On the other end of the phone, the boss said seriously, Emily, the confidential information from the previous bidding collaboration has been leaked. Smith's boss has already called the police. Please come to the company soon. I was taken aback. How could there be a case of information leakage? I hurried to the company. The phone rang. It was a call from Ethan. Emily, is it you? He didn't wait for me to answer. Then they started to question me. I was stunned for a moment. Feel cold all over. What do you mean by that? Are you doubting me? That document was only handled by you and Olivia in the end. That's me. He remained silent for a while. It seemed to be saying this as if to comfort me. Okay, I understand. You don't need to worry about this matter. I will handle it myself. Before the phone hung up, I murmured this sentence softly, but did not hear Ethan's response. Just arrived at the company, I was stopped by the police. I hurriedly explained to them that it was not me who did it. But they said that an investigation is needed. Moreover, your company's manager Ethan has just confirmed he has been with another person who has come into contact with this document during this time. That person does not have an alibi. It feels like being struck a heavy blow. I could hardly believe what I had just heard. Olivia looked very scared in the crowd. Ethan protected her with his hand. I stared blankly at Ethan. He is unwilling to let me see it. He seems to be gradually drifting away from me, the one who once stood in front of me and said, "You are not wrong. The boy who doesn't need to apologize. All right, I will go with you. What are the people around saying?" I seem to be unable to hear anything. The corners of his mouth curled into a reluctant smile, struggling to hold back tears. Emily, you can leave now. Someone has already guaranteed for you. 2 days later, I finally walked out of the police station. I saw the guarantor standing outside the door. I was momentarily stunned. It turned out to be Alex, the former head of the Smith project. There are many questions about this matter. Then consider that I won't guarantee you. You will be released soon. Alex looked at me reassuringly. In addition, in this collaboration, I believe you are a good person. I forced a smile. He is willing to believe me. But what about the person beside me? It was back on that rainy night. I should let it go. There should be no more expectations for him. He may have been too attractive in his youth. It made me lose myself for a whole decade. I didn't expect that. Ethan didn't go to work. On the contrary, it's at my house. The ashtray in front of him was filled with cigarette butts. I saw you back. He seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. The police department just called and said that you are fine for now. You should take a break first. I am going to cook. I ignored him, walked directly into the room and start tidying up. Seeing that I didn't respond, Ethan suddenly came over and hugged me. He said he knew I felt very wronged. Olivia has a timid personality. In that situation, I can't just stand by and watch her be taken away. Otherwise, how would the people in the company see her? So he chose to helplessly watch me being taken away. Clearly wronged. A few days after I stopped paying attention, the company group sent out a notice of punishment against me. It directly states that I leaked the document. Therefore, according to company regulations, I have to be terminated. He held me tighter. I can't help it either. After all, everyone has seen it. I smiled softly. Ethan's tone became increasingly anxious. You need to behave a little better. This is already the simplest way to solve this problem. I struggled hard to break free from his restraints. I noticed the look of panic in his eyes. Suddenly, I feel a bit tired. I don't want to argue with him anymore, okay? I understand you. You go ahead and work. Work is the most important thing. Really, he breathed a sigh of relief, gently resting against my forehead. The sound of breathing echoed in my ears. You can rest assured, wait for things to calm down. I can arrange for you to return to logistics. I saw him to the door. Before leaving, he turned back and glanced at me. A hint of tension flashed in his eyes. How about going out for hot pot together in the evening? I smiled and agreed. Closed the door. I returned to the room to organize all the luggage, left home without any regrets. On the way to the airport, I received a call from Olivia. She asked me, feeling wronged is certainly an unpleasant experience. I just comforted her a little. She helped me to handle all the evidence. Your relationship has lasted for 10 years. The result is the same. I let out a cold smile. I might be blind. But is Ethan really someone she can trust? I'm really too lazy to argue with her. Is there anything else? Olivia hesitated. You really don't care at all. I warn you, leave Ethan. Otherwise, you will regret it. I hung up the phone, did not take her threat seriously after the plane landed. My phone was almost blown up. Watching the phone vibrate incessantly, I answered another call from Ethan. Emily, I didn't expect you to be this kind of person. It sounds good on the surface. Bullying Olivia behind her back. What did you really talk about with Olivia? Olivia cried sadly on the other end of the phone. Don't blame your sister anymore. It is I who made her suffer. All right, you are not wrong again. Why apologize to her? Ethan gently comforted her. I bent down suddenly, struggling to suppress the feeling of nausea. Directly take out the SIM card from the phone. It was thrown into the trash can. Arrive at the pickup area. My parents were anxiously waiting there. As soon as it came out, I saw their concerned gazes. At that moment, I finally couldn't hold back the tears that I had been suppressing for so long. They cried while holding them. After returning home, my life has always been easy and carefree. I have been striving for good grades. I hope to match with Ethan. Now I can relax, enjoy life. I heard that I have returned. The class monitor from high school also invited me to a class reunion. Everyone was surprised to see me. Mentioned during casual conversation. Previously, many boys in the class liked Emily. I paused for a moment. I never knew about these things before. Don't you know? At that time, you only had Ethan in your heart. The people around laughed. At that time, if a boy in the class expressed his affection for you, Ethan would go over and say, Emily is mine. Everyone knows about this, but you have never been together. We all find it very strange. I heard these things that I didn't know before. I smiled with a sense of relief. Yes, we have not been together before. No one knows about us. In a lively setting, I suddenly received a call from an unknown number. The voice on the other end of the phone said, Emily, where are you? The landlord said you returned the house. What happened to you? Hurry home. Let's break up. I said calmly. What did you say? Ethan remained silent for a moment. The voice was a bit trembling. Is it because of work-related matters? I mentioned it before. Give me some time. I will arrange for you to go back. You are still upset because I spoke ill of you to Olivia, aren't you? You come back and apologize to her. Don't easily bring up breaking up over such a small matter. In fact, I have been looking at your face for 10 years, feeling tired of it. Ignored Ethan's anger. I hung up the phone directly. In the end, all that could be heard was him saying angrily, it was you who relentlessly pursued a relationship with me from the very beginning. Don't regret it. What are you busy with? Alex put down his phone, smiling brightly. Nothing. I am just looking at the flowers you raised a week ago. My mom said the neighbors have new residents. He is a very handsome young man. The first time I saw him, I was completely stunned. Alex, how did you end up here? Come for a vacation. The scenery here is nice. I have some doubts. How long do you plan to stay here? Alex awkwardly touched his nose, said, let's live here for 2 years first. While I was helping Alex take care of his flowers, Ethan called me again. The ease on my face has not yet faded. He said, I have already made arrangements on the company's side. You can come back. Didn't you say before that you wanted to get married? Let's get married when we come back this time. Hearing what he said, I was a bit stunned. I don't quite understand. I stepped aside. Ethan, I thought I made myself very clear. We have broken up. I never agreed, Ethan yelled, after a month of no contact. His voice became hoarse and unpleasant. I have already been so submissive. You should understand by now. I don't want to argue with him. Just about to hang up the phone. Emily, no wonder you want to break up with me. So it turns out you dumped me because you found someone new. You were already together before you brought up the breakup. Right. I don't know what he is talking about. At that moment, I received a picture sent by Ethan on my phone. It was posted by Alex in their friend circle. I am taking a photo of the flowers I am planting. Upon seeing this, I smiled instead. Ethan, it's not me who is cheating, right? I reached out to touch the rose in front of me. Let the thorns of the rose pierce my fingers. I said it slowly. A box was delivered in 10 minutes. I want a strawberry flavor. The other side suddenly fell silent. I hung up the phone. Do I need to go back? Alex walked past me. He had already noticed the relationship between Ethan and me. I decided not to go back. I want to experience a different kind of life. I used the money I had previously set aside to buy a house to open a small tavern in Colorado. The decoration and the menu were both arranged by me personally. Of course, there is also a little helper who volunteers to assist. His name is Alex. The new store has opened. I am extremely busy every day. My mom called. She said, Ethan stayed at our house all day today, but still didn't say anything. Just when my mom was chatting with me, Ethan suddenly grabbed my phone. Ask me, Emily, you are not at home. Where did you go? I shouldn't need to tell you where I'm going. His complexion clearly changed in the video. Ethan, don't contact me anymore. I thought I had made myself very clear. I didn't expect this when I was on my way home. Ethan actually arrived at the airport with my parents. We haven't seen each other for a while. Ethan looks quite a bit thinner. Before getting in the car, my mom whispered to me, during this time, Ethan has been coming over to our house to hang out. Just now, my dad and I came to pick you up. He insisted on following. I hold my mom's hand, comfort her. The atmosphere was a bit awkward along the way. My mom tried to ease the situation. Emily, did something unpleasant happen between you and Ethan? It's nothing serious. You have been friends for many years. What's so hard to say, Aunt? In fact, we are not just friends, I understand. Mom, I immediately interrupted Ethan. His face turned very pale, staring blankly at me. I sighed. It really isn't necessary to do this. Arrived downstairs. Ethan grabbed me. Emily, I can explain what happened before, Ethan said eagerly. At that time, it was Olivia who misled me. I understand that I was wrong. The only person I love is you. Please give me another chance. I promise I won't make such a mistake again in the future. I let out a sigh. It's really not necessary. There is nothing left for us to discuss. Ethan, since the day I received your takeout order, we have already ended. Ethan bit down hard on his cheek. A look of pain appeared on his face. He said, not finished. Emily, I truly love you. I have never liked anyone else. We are destined to be together forever. You can't just leave me like this. I will make you believe it. Ethan's movements were quick. A few days later, I received a video sent by a former colleague. In the video, Ethan and Olivia had a heated argument at the office. Ethan's complexion was very poor. He even slammed his hand on Olivia's desk. The scene was chaotic at one point. Usually, manager Ethan appears so graceful. I didn't expect him to be so angry. Emily, manager Ethan said in the company that you are his girlfriend. Is this true? He had always stopped me from revealing our relationship. After the breakup, everyone found out. This was a long time ago. It was just something I was playing around with at the time. Later, Olivia's misconduct has been revealed. The police have solid evidence of her leaking secrets. The more outrageous thing is, Olivia is not the daughter of President Smith at all, but rather his mistress. She hurried back to her country after being discovered by the legitimate wife while she was abroad, assuming someone else's daughter's identity, seeking a new source of support. I really didn't expect things to develop like this, the boss said on the phone. Emily, I have always appreciated your efforts in the company. Now the situation is clear. Welcome back to work. The minister's position is reserved for you. I smiled lightly. Previously, I fought for the job. It doesn't seem so important anymore. I appreciate his recognition, but I have already started a new life. Then I thought for a moment. Still speaking, in fact, you knew it wasn't me who leaked the confidential information. Right, you have chosen Ethan. Not me. The other party did not respond. I quietly hung up the phone. Everything seems to be back to normal, but the day after the incident, I walked through the alley as usual. Suddenly, I felt a wave of panic. A voice came from behind, say, "Got you." When I woke up, I found myself in an abandoned factory. The sky outside still looks like it hasn't been long since it changed. Woke up. My voice is a bit hoarse, but he recognized her right away. It is Olivia. Are you feeling confused? Why am I here? Olivia said coldly. I put in so much effort. Finally, Ethan has started to dislike you. I didn't expect you to still be so clingy with him. As a result, he ended up getting angry with me. You really deserve to be punished, Emily. You see me like this now. Do you feel very happy? It's okay. Soon you will be just like me. She pinched my chin. Let me lift my head. Smith's boss will like you. As long as I help him find new goods, he will take care of everything for me. He is quite skilled in bed. You should enjoy it just as I do. I stared at Olivia with annoyance. Try to move your hands and feet, but no matter how hard I try, I cannot escape. His mouth was also stuffed. I could only watch helplessly as she injected a vial of liquid into my body. The cold needle pierced my skin and caused me a lot of pain. I struggled desperately, but it was of no use. Before losing consciousness, I vaguely saw a man rush in, hold me tightly. When I opened my eyes again, I found myself already in the hospital. Alex has always been by my side. Upon seeing me wake up, he immediately stood up. He anxiously asked me how I was feeling now. Then a series of checks. When I regained my composure, only then did I understand what had happened. Alex came with the police. Fortunately, Olivia only administered the anesthetic to me. Ethan had previously helped her commit perjury. The police now suspect that he is involved in this matter, so they were taken away for investigation. I heard that he was fired by the company. It's okay, you just need to take a good rest. I won't let you worry anymore. Alex has been comforting me. There was a look of worry in their eyes. However, under such care from others, instead they fell asleep peacefully after a period of recuperation. I have just slowly walked out of the shadow of being kidnapped, back to my work. The newly opened tavern is very lively. Alex, who was once the project manager at a large company. Now I occasionally sing in my tavern. I am a bit curious, just ask him, how do you handle your main job? He looks a bit troubled. He is thinking, what should I do if I have no income? Will the tavern owner help me? I noticed that I seemed a bit flustered. Alex just started to laugh, in fact. It was a joke. Actually, Smith is my family's company. My dad used to encourage me to exercise. Let me participate in the project. Right now, his gaze was filled with cunning. I told my dad that I'm pursuing a girl. 2 months later, Alex confessed his feelings to me. We are officially together. At first, I felt a bit at a loss, because my previous relationship was not very smooth. However, Alex's actions made me believe he is serious. He took me to meet his friends and parents. They are all very friendly to me. His mother smiled and handed a bracelet to me. Alex was laughing especially happily next to them, as if saying, "Received a gift from my mom. You are truly mine now." The days spent with Alex fly by. I am busy taking care of my little tavern every day. Alex continues to work at the branch office. It was close to the end of the workday. The resident singer at the store was still on stage singing relaxed folk songs. Suddenly, a child ran over, gently patted me, say, "Sister, a big brother over there asked me to give this to you." He immediately handed me a rose. I turned back to take a look. A person dressed in a chubby rabbit costume walked towards me. He took a large handful of roses from his little bamboo basket, spinning in front of me along with the music. Then kneel on one knee. A cheer erupted from the store. I couldn't help but laugh either. "Aren't you working overtime today? How come you are here at this time?" The words have not been finished yet. The person kneeling in front of me took off the hood. My smile vanished in an instant. "How could it be you?" I saw Ethan's eyes immediately turn red. "Who do you think it is?" He lowered his head. "It feels like trying to control the emotions inside. Can you come back with me?" I replied coldly, "Impossible." The brightness in Ethan's eyes seemed to vanish all at once. "Are you still angry? I know that Olivia and I have hurt you, but I assure you, it will definitely never happen like this again. Are you feeling unwell anywhere since you were kidnapped by her? Let me take care of you, okay? I just want to take good care of you." The plea in his eyes made my heart ache. I watched the person in front of me who was cautiously trying to please. Sweat dripped down his face. I didn't feel any satisfaction. Instead, I feel as if a stone is pressing down on me. The old me in front of him. Even maintaining confidence requires a lot of effort. At that time, I thought that being with him meant having everything. But after leaving him, I have just realized that career, love, and dreams can all belong to me. At this moment, it seems like our roles have reversed. Since we parted ways, Ethan, there is really no way to handle this, you understand. But he took 2 steps forward, want to hold my hand. At this moment, the newly arrived Alex stepped forward immediately. Keep me behind. Ethan's gaze suddenly turned cold. Move aside. What are you? He is my boyfriend. I walked up to him. Speak calmly. Ethan, don't come looking for me anymore. I have found new happiness in the past 10 years. I did not owe you an apology. Let's act as if we don't know each other. Okay. Ethan seemed to have lost all his strength in an instant, staring at me blankly for a while, just when I thought he wouldn't speak. He nodded slowly, then turned and left, watching his retreating figure. I understand. We really are done. It is dawn. The Smith family may be facing bankruptcy. The Alex who said this looked a bit imposing. I can feel that my boyfriend's family is indeed quite powerful. However, right after that, his behavior seemed a bit immature. I haven't even pretended to be a doll to make you happy. What right does he have to do this? Looking at his awkward appearance, I find it quite interesting. She reached out and poked his tightly clenched cheek. Alex immediately deflated like a punctured balloon. Aggrieved, it rubbed against my neck. I held him close. But deep down, I was very happy, smiling sweetly. I didn't lie to Ethan. I have truly found new happiness. On the first anniversary of the tavern's opening, I launched some celebration activities. This store is especially popular among young people. Every day is very lively. In the most recent event, a young couple won the lottery. They are high school classmates who sit at the same desk. We always promised to go to college together. I am about to graduate now. At that moment, the boy suddenly knelt down on one knee, proposed to the girl. The atmosphere in the shop suddenly became lively. Amidst the cheers of everyone, the boy's hand holding the ring was trembling with tension. The girl held his hand with tears in her eyes, received the diamond ring. The whole scene looks really fresh and youthful. I am sitting in the audience, looking at them. As I smiled, I couldn't help but shed tears. Ethan was sitting in a corner of the store. Throughout this year, he often sat alone in silence. I looked up. Only then did I realize our youthful days seemed to be filtered through a lens. What I miss is no longer the person he was. At that moment, I turned around and saw that Alex had returned. She smiled very sweetly. Alex is holding my hand. Tell me, let's go. I got off work early today. I'll take you to eat hot pot. I no longer look at the man who appears desperate in the corner. I smiled as I took Alex's hand. He walked out of the tavern. The sunlight outside is just right. It reminds me of every ordinary afternoon many years ago at school. However, I no longer intend to look back.